Hello, this is Shamim. I am working as a senior web developer here in ICRA. In this tutorial, I am going to show you translating the header part of our home page. Remember, in our last 3 tutorial we come step by step, and the part 4 we showed a sample. We showed some samples of translating our site into Hindi, HI_IN. So in our last tutorial we showed how can we change language on top of our header part, and we remain as an English. But now in this tutorial I will show you how can we translate the text into a Hindi language. So we will go to our sample template. It is a PHP holidays template. The same methodology, tricks and the procedure will work for your script. It not necessarily has to be the PHP holidays, it can be any script that you purchase from icra.com. So this is what we called header part of a template. For your case it can be any script, can be any software purchased from ICRA. The methodology and the idea will remain same. In our last tutorial we add this one is Hindi. Remember, in our last tutorial we kept all our language as an English, although we select Hindi, but language are showing as an English. Why? Because we copied all values and content of English to the folder of Hindi language. So if you are not clear, make sure that you view our last tutorial where we added HI_IN and we replace everything by English language. So when we select Hindi, we can see all English is coming up. So now we will show you how can we translate English to our Hindi local language. As usual, let's log into our FTP. Under FTP there is a folder called application, layout, script and your theme. So for your case it can be any theme, but for our case we rename it as a your theme. So I navigate to our theme folder. On right hand side is our server part and left hand side is our local machine part. So let us download header.html file, which is responsible for rendering the header part of our website. So I download it to our local machine and I am going to upload it. I am going to open it through any of your preferred HTML editor. Here I am using Dreamweaver. So I opened header.html file. It means I am going to make change everything on the header part of our website. So let us move on to code view, and as you can see the div ID top bar, this one is this div representing the top bar of the header part. So on the top bar, what we mean, let us show. The top bar means this one is top bar. It resides just topmost part of your website. So on the top bar there is a list. Each list is a link. So this is the translation code and this is we call translator variable. So this is the variable we use for translating my account. My account is a value. So and the variable is header_account. So it means that in the language file you have many variables, and this is the theme folder. System will automatically grab the theme folder how you rename it. For our case it is your theme. So now we will show you where can we find our language folder. It remains under application directory. Under application directory you will find a folder called language. So language folder contain all language. So as you can see, we have two language, one is English and another is Hindi. In our last tutorial we create a new folder hi_in, and we just replace all text copied from English. So that's why you are seeing English now. So now we will change it to Hindi, a local language. So how? Let us show you. So now we navigate to template and your theme folder. As you remember that our theme name is renamed as your theme. So in last tutorial we just renamed this file, but content was remained same. But now we will open in a edit mode. So first download it to local machine and open through your any preferred text editor, and we will now make some changes in value in our local language, so that I want user to see my website in my local language. So it's going to be Hindi, and I'm just opening this file, and in the left hand side, as you can see, in few minutes back we told it this is what we call variable. It resides on the left hand side. So let us find where the variable exactly is, so that I can make change of the value, corresponding value of a variable. So yes, I found it. This is what we are searching. So this is the language variable, and the value comes from here. So value comes, my account is a value which is displayed on your website here, and if we make any changes here, it will appear according to how we are making change here. So now we will use a Google Translator, because we use the intelligence of Google to translate this language for us, because we don't know what the native language is for all countries. So we take help from Google, and let us type English, and we will get the corresponding language in Hindi what it says. So my account corresponding Hindi is this one. So we just copied the corresponding Hindi text, so that because I want user to see my Hindi text of my account, but I am not a Hindi expert, so that's why we take help from Hindis. Now I go to a website called htmlentities.net. I want help to encode our language in an HTML format, because the format that you are looking is a human readable format, it's not a machine readable format. So now I encode this. It prints a bunch of data which is encoded. So we will now take the part of input what it's written. Do not copy from result, just copy from the input part which is being encoded through htmlentities.net. Thanks HTML entities for making our life easier. So now we copied HTML entities encoded language, so that machine can read this language and display it to our local Hindi language. I save this file, and I am going to upload it back to the server under a language hi_in template. theme folder. These are the variables, which contains the corresponding value. So what we need, so we will just follow the variables and we will make search, make sure that we are 100% sure before making change. So the value is the, yes, this is the value and it prints here. So what you need, you just need to change the value part. Do not edit or change variable part. Variable part is written is reading by the system, but you only need to change the value part. So again I go back to my Google Translator. I translate agent registration through our local English language, and then I am going back to htmlentities.net. I want this agent registration to be encoded. So we have encoded this. It means this is a machine readable format of agent registration. So now I paste encoded. So it looks garbage to you, but it makes sense to the system to print agent registration in Hindi local language. So now I am going to change this agent registration. It means these encoded text will print agent registration. Again I am going to get the feedback variables. So I copy it from my header PHTML and I am going to find, this is what header feedback variables. What is the value corresponding of this? This is feedback. So if you can make change, so if you make change feedbacks, so it will print exactly how you change the value. So I just go to our translator, Google Translator, click feedback. I get the text which is pronounced in local Hindi language, and I am going to encode it, and I get the encoded value. Encoded value is basically what machine understand, but it is not humanly understandable, but it is machine readable. So now we just paste it, and I would expect it will print Hindi feedbacks, Hindi language feedback. So now I am going to get more variables. It is another variable of header sitemap. So I need to find which variable which value does it contains with this variable. So header sitemap contains a value in English called sitemap. So I need to know what sitemap call in Hindi language. So this is what we can get from Hindi language from in sitemap. So I am going to encode this, so that I am going to encode this text from with the help of HTML entities. You can use any third-party text editor to make it encoded. There are many third-party applications. They might help you to encode your local language, and I think Dreamweaver 8 has an option to encode text for you for your local language. So I am taking help from HTML entities. It doesn't mean that you have to take everything from HTML entities. You can get encoded version of your local language anywhere you want, but here I am just showing you an idea how we can encode our language. So here I'm copying the input part of these HTML entities. So now I'm pasting it. So remember and be caution, you are only making change of the values, not variables. I saved this file, whatever I did so far, I am going to upload it back to the server. I want the top bar to be translated in our local Hindi language. So here we are. Yes, it is nice looking Hindi language translated. You can see how nicely we translate this. So now we will go on top panel. This is what we call top panel. So now we will go back to our header PHTML file. As I told you, header PHTML file is responsible for rendering the header part of your website. So this is the top panel. So this is the variable called this is the variable I just copied. I want to find this variable here. Here we are. This variable represent a value called welcome to. So we will just translate this welcome to our local Hindi language. But one thing I need to add, we are just showing an example with the Hindi language, but it can be your native language. It can be Turkish, can be Arabic, can be any of your native language. So we just grab Hindi to show you as an example. So as we do, we just encode this text and change the value, save it, and now we will change sign in and registration. The PHP holidays is a dynamic value. It's coming from your title of whatever you have written in your admin control panel as a site name. So it is PHP holidays is nothing to make change. So now we will change sign in. So the sign in translation. So here is sign out PHP variables. So here we have nothing to make change. Sign out, we are finding a translator. When you make translation, you make sure that you are only getting the variables under translator arrow translator. So the variable under translator arrow translator is the variable option where you should find the variables of the language. So I just copy it. I need to find what value we wrote on our language part. So I find it because it's a long file. It is easy to find through our tool. So here we wrote sign out. So I just go back to our Google Translator to find the Hindi version of this to sign out, and I want to encode this through our htmlentities.net website. Thanks for giving us this service free. And we encode it and we carefully paste on the value part of our language. And now we will go to our header sign out variables, sign in variables. So hotel header sign in variables. So here this is the value that I need to change. So I want to know what it calls in Hindi local language. It is what we call sign in, and now I am going to copy this sign in Hindi version. I am going to encode it. I get the encode value, and now I will copy this, paste it back to our language file. On the value part, make sure the value is surrounded with 2 inverted commas. Save this file, upload it back to the server under application language, your language name, template, and your theme name. There is a folder lan dot your local code underscore territory code, and then upload it, saved, refresh. Let us see what change. Yes, it is. You can see welcome to is been translated, and here is sign in, sign out, and I am going to change register. Sign in has been translated, so register is still there. So I will now find the register to translate it again. So now we will find in the header section, I will see where registered is written. So let us find under the top panel section. So this is the container logo. So I will go up. Here we are, common front end header register. So I copy the variable. I want to find what value is called. Yes, it is. The value is written here as a register. So I need to know what register is called in Hindi local language. I am going to paste it on translator. Here is what we get from Google. I am going to go back to our htmlentities.net website to encode this value to copy. Yes, it is. I got the value. I copied, and it has to be encoded. Again, make sure that you do not copy whatever you see in Google, because it is human readable, not machine readable. So so I just encode this value and paste it on the value part of our language section. Again, I am going to save this file, and I will now upload it to the server. So again, make sure that you carefully paste on the value part so that everything remains same. If anything goes wrong, if any comma, semicolon, inverted comma miss, you can consider your site will broken. So now then you have to dig up or dig down, debug slowly and slowly. So now I uploaded to the server, and you can see the register has been translated. So only left is PHP holidays, because it is coming from your admin control panel, how you name your product and how you name your company and title. So if we just go back to our English version, you can see we can see as an English copy of our site, and when we change to our Hindi in Indian language, so it translated to our Hindi. So top bar is translated, top panel is translated, and it looks good. So it's look good, but you can see there are too many languages, so you have to go step by step. There are many language files, there are many languages, so it is a little bit effort, a little effort is required, because we would expect your patience and your time to make translation. I hope this tutorial helps to understand how the translation work. I understand that the translation is a little bit bigger, and I would appreciate your valuable time and effort, and you go slow, make translation, be careful, and if anything goes wrong, just undo what you did and then go step by step. So I appreciate your cooperation with us, and I hope this tutorial helps. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to write us. We are open to answer any inquiries or question you may have. Thank you very much.